Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL, or Reading Between the Lines. Just some, summary and my thoughts on the recent news. So this stuff that I'm gonna show for a couple screens, isn't news to a lot of people, but I think it's just a good reminder. I'm just gonna plop this in here. We do have a summer check-in event, so after the maintenance, so make sure that after the maintenance you actually log out, or at least close the app, and then log back in to actually get the first day reward. I made that mistake on the previous check-in event where I was actually a day late. The one where you actually get a free 5-star hero. I was actually 1 day behind everyone else because I didn't know you had to like re-log in. So just a reminder just to do that. This time I think we get an item at the very end there, and it's these boots. They're very good boots. For T77, they're getting us like all these different interesting grades, but 12 attack there. Obviously that with the T77, even though it's epic, it will gain a higher, well, I would say it will gain less substat rolls than like a T85 or even in the future T88 epic boots. That's just how the classifications work. But still, I mean, if you roll this and you get like crit chance, crit damage, I would say those are the primary ones you want to aim for there. It's gonna be such a good boot. So I mean, everybody's gonna be using it. I know it in their builds. I don't know who of mine would use this. It depends on how it rolls, but just watch me get effectiveness and health. I always get what I don't want. Next thing is the buff event. So the buff event, you guys have already experienced this. Started from Tuesday. We already had some GM buffs, so that's what I'm calling it. The GM buffs. Just make sure that you take advantage of this on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Probably the most exciting stuff for me, myself. So, save as much energy as you can. If you are gonna farm runes, so rune drop rate up is ×2, but a 30% hunt material drop rate increase. I would say that the hunts are probably more exciting for myself. Even though I am, still kind of grinding runes for my Angelic Montmorency, but it's like if you're patient you can wait for that. But whereas like hunt material, like benefit from this is useful in the long run, like way more useful in the long run than I would say the rune rate drop. But if you are not patient, you want to get your hero right up to speed, use them right away, then yeah, I would say go for the 2 times there. But I'm gonna save all of my energy for the hunts for sure. I'll probably have to like start building up like my one-shot Banshee teams, stuff like that, just to speed it up, because I really want to take advantage of it. Just to keep in mind that you have to keep in mind the timing as well. So just like our GM buffs that we've been experiencing for the past little while, just keep in mind that those are the only windows you can get that 30%. So I would definitely recommend, if you have the ability to do so, don't just auto it, because autoing does take longer. Manual it and use your strongest hitters to take down this hunt ASAP, because you only have a 2-hour window anyway. So I may as well take that advantage. Yeah, so just keep that in mind, just a reminder. And then the Spirit Altar has been open. You guys saw from yesterday, at this point of this recording, yesterday, all of them have been open, and they'll be open all the way to Friday. So on Friday, I think at the end of day, I believe, it's all going to be open. And of course, Saturday and Sunday as usual, they're always open anyway. So take advantage of those drop rate things as well. So if you are, if you see the altars up right now, maybe you farm the altars now without the drop rate increase, and then you just farm the hunts when the drop rate increases have started in on Friday. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that instead. But yeah, I'm not too, it's not too urgent to get my specially changed Montmorency, but it's nice to have. Just keep that in mind. Good morning, guys. Morning. Jeremy Jackson, Echo Rock, do you guys get a shout out? We got a lot to cover, so I'm gonna try to speed through this. Update content part 1. I'm gonna break up part 2, because part 2 I think is mainly all about the hero buffs and the nitty-gritty, like the actual finalized details, which I'm gonna do that on a separate RBTL. But for these ones, I'm just gonna go through here. So Alchemist Steeple, I looked at this, and you know, while it's kind of good, they're kind of limiting our progress by basically, in summary, limiting it to like, you know, kind of like a once per day craft, once per week craft. They obviously separate the good stuff to once per week, the kind of the bad stuff that you really wouldn't care about to like once per day. So I mean, to me, in summary of all this information, and please, you know, check out the Stove website for the update, the full thing. Do your own reading, do your own interpretation. But for me, it feels like, yeah, like once you craft it, you can kind of leave it alone, which is good in a way, because you won't, like, you know, it limits your resources spent, so you don't have to be like, oh, I'm so broke. But just keep in mind, like, almost everything you craft, I think everything you craft actually does spend gold. It goes through like talking about, like, you know, the better stuff you feed into the Alchemist Steeple. Is that what it's called? Oh wait, one sec. Yeah, Alchemist Steeple. The better stuff you feed to it, like the higher grade, the better the reward. So just keep that in mind. Crafting limits accessory is once per week. Equipment charm is once per week. So it almost feels like if you're gonna craft it for that 1 week, you may as well craft good stuff. But that's to each their own. You know, maybe you don't have that much good stuff. All I can say is now that it seems that you're going to be keeping your like junk fodder. So like, let's say if you get like an epic necklace, but it was like a flat stat, like that happens to me all the time. I really don't understand. Like, I don't think I've gotten a T85 epic necklace with an actual usable stat. I think maybe once, like one. That's on my Ken. Otherwise, you get a lot of like flat stats or bad substats, but you get like epic. I guess like at this point, like keep those. So feed those at the end of the week, and then or during your once a week thing, and then you get some good charms out of it. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The material crafting also is kind of weird. Like they show an example of using like some T1 stuff, you know, ingredients, and I was looking at this. I'm like, is it worth it? Like, yes, you get something better, but it almost feels like some of the stuff that we used to hunt, like when we started the game, that's kind of leftover. You can't sell that stuff. Maybe you put it in and you get some new stuff, but I don't think you would ever use the lower grade stuff to create the high grade stuff, because you would never actually farm the low grade stuff unless you gain low grade stuff from like rewards and stuff, which like over the history of Epic 7, we've gotten some, like maybe from the reputation rewards, you got some lower grade stuff as a reward there, through various means, I suppose, but you're not gonna get them a lot. So if you're an end game player, I mean, this is good for like new players and stuff. This is good, because then what that means is like newer players can, like, let's say if you're like stuck on like Wyvern 9, right? You're stuck on Wyvern 9, you can't progress further, but you can actually, like, you know, over time, long time grinding, you can use your Wyvern 9 crafting materials to craft higher grade crafting materials. So then you can get better grade stuff. So that way it can kind of break that kind of people like were telling me on YouTube and stuff like, hey, yeah, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck for months. Like, how do I progress forward? This is one of those ways that you can get there. But I just think that the limiting, you can see here, yeah, items crafted as limited 5 times per day. That would definitely limit it. But again, this game can be a grind. Just some people progress further depending on, you know, what kind of resources they spend. Progress further faster. So just keep that in mind. If you're a new player and you feel like you're stuck, don't feel too down about it. You know, different play styles and, you know, the amount of time you put into this game will be equivalent to the amount of progression you actually gain. So just keep that in mind. If you are stuck, don't feel too bad about it. Epic Catalyst and yeah, the Rare Catalyst, I'm not going to talk too much about this. Again, same kind of mean, same kind of thought process. The more stuff you put in here, the better the stuff you get. Here's the table of like what kind of stuff you can get here for Rare Catalyst, for Epic Catalyst, etc. The amount, the quantity, and also the limit. So again, Epic Catalyst once per week. I suppose that's kind of good. So you want to kind of combine your AP exchange points or AP exchange shop. You know, do those grinding if you're hunting for Epic Catalyst, and then also craft it. So you do want to cap that out. If you're a end game player, you do want to cap out your Epic Catalyst crafting once per week. You want to do that so you don't get, you know, too far behind. So anytime the game introduces something that is limited once per week and stuff like that, you want to take advantage of it. It's just like I've known people in the past that you know, didn't buy their 3 Malagora per week. That is a really big setback. Really big setback if you don't remember to buy the Malagora once per week. We've talked about this in other videos, but yeah, just keep that in mind. Anything that's limited to the time, you want to kind of do it. I would say the rare catalyst once per day thing is kind of like skippable, especially if you're end game. Let's see here. Yeah, crafting. Oh yeah, so this is important too. So now you can craft accessories. So this is going to be interesting. Again, we will see, you know, how good it is. But being able to craft materials, I would say that now saving up your materials to craft accessories is probably going to be one of the most important things to do in this game. Like, you would probably want to keep like a certain threshold. Yeah, so yeah, just keep that in mind. Keep a certain threshold of materials, so you can craft accessories only. Because like I said before, that accessory crafting is probably one of the most important things in this game. Or rather, obtaining accessories. We can only craft it now. Obtaining accessories is one of the most important things. So Automaton Tower is coming. So it's going to be implemented in this patch, as I'm doing this video for this patch week. But we can only access it the 1st of July. So keep that in mind. It's 30 days. So by the end of the month, this Automaton Tower resets. It shows you the 1st of every month at a certain time. So sometimes you get 31 days, sometimes you get 30 days, sometimes you get 28, 29 days if you're in February and they're counting leap year, etc. So it makes it easiest for us to remember. 100 floors, it seems like it could be pretty easy. Up to floor 90, you can actually weaken the monsters by using Stigma. 2 rounds per floor, so that's kind of like the Abyss. So you can see here, this actually talks about the monster debuff, up to 30% to weaken the monsters. Now, I would say that it's probably not needed, especially if floor 90 and 100, you can't even debuff them. And I was saying this on an early Theorycraft when the Automaton Tower was announced, that would this be really hard? Like, would this be like Abyss level difficulty? I highly doubt it. Otherwise, the time limit, 30 days, I mean, that's expecting every new player to get to, like, you know, like end game within 30 days. Now, while I know that a lot of people were saying that, well, that's like the same for everything, right? Like, you know, that's the same for every, you know, sort of progression thing. Like, sometimes if you're a new player, you can't complete the event, or you can't complete the event on hell difficulty. I get that, but in this, I'm suspecting it won't be super hard. I'm expecting it won't be super hard, because they were saying in a previous dev note, saying that if it is too easy, they're gonna create a hard mode for it. Like, that's in the concept phase. So I'm expecting like the hard mode would be like a totally different type of mechanic. So maybe it won't be locked to 30 days or something like that. So I don't think that this would be too hard. But anyways, this is our first trial run. It's pretty cool. You get your main rewards here. You can see on every floor, it seems that you can get some gold. If you look at the image that I'm on right now, you look beside there's like a little preview on floor 2, 6,630 gold. I believe there's another one here. Clear stage 1, you get some gold. Every 10 stages or 10 floors, you get some better stuff. Now, this is not bad at all. Like, really good charms, accessory charms, probably one of the most expensive and most important things in this game in terms of charm wise. Malagora Leaf, really good. Terra Phantasma, I'm okay with that, I guess, but not as needed. But yeah, you guys, right here, just 100 floors, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 Malagora, and then you get a free Moonlight Pull, which is really good. But like I said, I think with the amount of you know, rewards given there, I don't expect this to be too hard, but we'll have to find out. Now, this to me, I don't really care about, but the ranking, so rank 1 to 100 for the first people that cleared 100th floor. If you guys know me well, you probably can't say wait, what? No, it uses energy. So it uses energy. So Terra is just asking here. So you can see in the screenshot here. And I think they do tell it too. I don't know if the energy gets more expensive as you go on though. That is not explained here, but at least in the preview we have 5 energy. I'm expecting it to go up a bit higher for the higher ones, otherwise people can just spam it way too quick. Even if you're like a free to play and you don't refresh your energy, I think that could be the case. Anyways, I was just saying that this rank 1 to 100 thing, I don't know, there's no reward for it, so it's purely for the glory. And it does tell you the amount of days. I don't know what the info thing, like if you clicked on info, I don't know what you can get out of that. I'm not quite sure. You know, what is there that's missing from this table already that you can get from the info? I'm not quite sure about that, but they don't go on to explaining that further. Champion Zerato is added into the pool by the end of this maintenance. I did a long, like 40-minute theorycraft video on Champion Zerato, his build, where I see him used, and I versus him, you know, versus Gloomy Rain. In terms of like, I felt that they, from like the initial like surface level standpoint, it feels like they do pretty much the same thing. While not the same, it feels like they countered the same meta. But I kind of rated him pretty low there. So if you want to know my thoughts on his entire skill, theory crafting, his stats, and you know what kind of overall stats you might be looking at if you put on certain gears, certain sets, check that video out. It's just I think it's called like ML Zerato or Champion Zerato versus Gloomy Rain. I think that's what it's called. Kisei drop rate up. I'm gonna talk about the Kisei as a hero herself in another RBTL following after this, but you can find that in another video as well. I really do think that she deserves her own segment, so we're not we're not wasting time here. We have a new challenge, Ember Storm Pride. So I was looking at this, and you know, I could refer to the guys on stream as well. Let me know what you guys think about this artifact right now as I'm doing an intro to it. I looked at the skill, and I mean, it's pretty good. I think it reminds me of what, Timeless Anchor? I think that's a 3-star. So it's like a 4-star upgrade version of Timeless Anchor, I think. But yeah, anyways, you can do a normal difficulty, hard difficulty, hell difficulty. Drop rate up is 20% on the hell difficulty, and then there is reputation. I think you get one of them for free. Yeah, you get one of them for free if you clear 10 times. And then gold transmit stone if you can clear on hard. So that's a really good one. If you're a newer player, that might be harder, because hell difficulty is still decently hard even for new players. But that gold transmit stone is really good. I'm actually surprised that is in the reputation here. I guess they have included it in the previous couple ones. This artifact has a max up to 70% chance to dispel 1 debuff when attacked. Can be activated once per turn. I think Timeless Anchor, actually I have a journal open here, I'm actually going to take a look. I think Timeless Anchor is up to a 50% if I'm not mistaken, 3-star. And then people run this, because when I saw this, I looked at, hold on, where's Timeless Anchor? Here you go. Yeah, up to a 50% chance to dispel 1 debuff when attacked. So Timeless Anchor, based on the reading of this, I think Timeless Anchor can be actually better in a sense. In the sense that because this can only be activated once per turn. So, you know, if people keep like stacking the debuffs, let's say if you have like, let's say Dizzy like debuffed, let's say Dark Corvus. I do think that people, when they looked at this artifact, they probably looked at Dark Corvus. There is a build where Dark Corvus is running Timeless Anchor, because instead of like Strack, where you can possibly still get debuffed, having it dispel 1 debuff on Timeless Anchor is actually really priceless. And then Timeless Anchor has no limit on the activation per turn. There's nothing in the description. It says a 50% chance, this is a max by the way, so plus 30, 50% chance to dispel 1 debuff when attacked. Straight, that's it. Whereas you would have to get this to a max and has to get a 70%, so 20% overall, but you can only activate it once per turn. So other than the proc rate being higher, I think this might be actually a weaker artifact. I don't know what other people would have to think about that, but in my opinion, I would think that is a bit weaker, since if you are, let's say if you are using Dark Corvus, 50%, I don't know, would you miss that 20%? On the off chance that you can dispel it per hit? So I don't know, I'm not quite sure about that, but I don't know who else would this be good on. If it's only once per turn, so keep that in mind. Once per turn would be good on like things like, I don't know, like provoke, defense breaks and stuff like that. But once you get like combo kind of debuff, so like ML Uramintha, you know, would this be better? I would say like if you're like running this on, let's say, Kitty Clarissa, I would say this is worse. I would prefer Strack over this as well, just to, you know, have the chance to just resist all the debuffs, instead of being able to dispel one debuff. If ML Mythic goes and Dizzy goes and ML Baal goes, I don't know, man. It's like, this feels like it's a lot of stuff to remove. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, the guys on stream are saying like ML Corvus as one of the ones that use this. White Squall says using available for Robbie. Yeah, Robbie could work. Robbie could work. Still thinking of like that Dizzy debuff though. Once you get that Dizzy debuff on, you know, you just avoid using her. So on a defense team it might not be good. On an offense team it could be good, but only up to once per turn. In my opinion, 100% wouldn't make this too broken. 100% chance to dispel the debuff, but only activated once per turn. I think it wouldn't even make this broken. But anyways, this is not a theory craft. It's not gonna change this artifact because I said it should be changed. So regardless, I'm just gonna, yeah. So I don't know. I think this is a good one. I suppose it's worth farming for maybe 2, just in case like, you know, there's some hero kit that can work really well with this. I mean, there's already some heroes that can work well with this anyway, so I maybe farm 2 max limit broken, maybe. I'll probably aim for that, just in case. I like these limited artifacts. They sometimes come in handy. Paris is legit. Any warrior artifact is better on Hobby. LOL. Okay, well, Terror probably knows a bit better. I don't know. Yeah, I would say that with the debuff meta right now, with combo debuffs, I think the Timeless Anchor is a bit stronger. If you're comparing the two, I would say it's a bit stronger. Yeah, we were talking about that. So some UI updates. I'm gonna keep this again. I've tried to speed this up here. We're at 21 minutes. I'm gonna run out of stream time. Hero journal improvements. I'm just gonna kind of glance over it. I like the UI improvements. I like this aspect where you can kind of have like this transparent backing to it. I like the circular thing. It's kind of like a bit nicer than, let's say, like a straight where we have like a kind of a gauge, like a bar, like this one on the left here, Hero journal. Currently that's how it looks like, but whatever. It's just nice little touches. A new filtering system, which is good. This story journal though, this is awesome. You can view the text for the selected story, but you can also view video and text. I think this is only for like specific cutscenes. So most of them are just the text for the selected story. I think saying the text, it also it means that you get to see the exact same, like with all the heroes, you know, like actually in the story. So if you're reviewing for the first time, what I think is really cool is that they're actually giving out like a little background pack. I wasn't expecting this at all, as just a reward for, like, you know, actually watching all the stories, which is kind of cool. But I mean it's just a little nice to have little backgrounds for like when you're looking at your heroes, which is kind of nice. I think it's only for those like full zoomed in versions of him, so you can look at the art. So yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like the magnification glass thing. You just click on that, and I think you can swap the background, so you can like take some cool screenshots or whatever. I probably never use it. I hardly use that magnification feature because you have to turn your phone, and generally like I play on the emulator, so I don't actually do it, because I would have to turn my head. So I don't really use that feature at all, but I mean it's nice to have. Anyways, that's the end of this one. This content update content part 1. I'm gonna end this video because this is just like all patch stuff. I'm gonna talk about the hero balancing in another RBTL and also Kisei in another RBTL. So I'm gonna end this one here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.